All right, all right, all right. So don't anybody panic. I'm on time. Don't panic. Try not to freak out. I'm actually on time today. Hey Trey, how you doing, bud? Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff. Finally. Oh, thank God there's games to talk about. Oh my God, am I so happy we got games to talk about. Well, our game to talk about anyway. And then Verhage signs, and then Omar signs. Beautiful, 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 absolutely beautiful night last night. Um, but let's be honest. Now, when you looked at the schedule, if you're Boston and you looked at, oh, geez, we're the ones that get sacrificed and thrown to the Wolves for the Panthers home opener. I like it. I like it. Now, of course, that game kind of went the way you would expect it to go, right? Against Olmark, or excuse me, against Corpusalo. I'm reading Trey's comment about Olmark. Anyway, we played their backup goalie, and we've always done well against Corpusalo. So, yeah, 4-1 by the end of the first period. Game was already over. Those couple of goals by the end of the third period that Boston got, that's just good stuff to keep the team from getting too big of a head, you know. And everything but the power play looked good. So we kind of looked the same, right? I mean, we pretty much look like the same team. All right, let's blow up the chat so I can see what y'all got for me. Is that Aviator? Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hey, Metal. The game was awesome last night. Felt like a playoff game. The crowd was electric. Yeah. Aviator, last night, I know Eyes gave out a bunch of gifted memberships, and Jake, who's his name is Jay Osceola, I think he gave out 100. He gave out 50 at the beginning and 50 at the end. So, yeah, like I've been saying, for the members, you guys are going to have your own Discord here in about a week or 2 weeks. I just got to get with the guy that did it for me. If you're watching, Micah, we're playing email tag. We're playing email tag, but the Discord is created, so for you members, you'll have that. Vincent, am I happy now? Let me see. I was happy last night because of the alcohol. I filmed the new footage. I filmed the new series this morning. It's coming out probably about an hour after we're done here. I'll give you a little hint. I have a full-length robe with my lightning hat over there in the corner. So that'll give you a little bit of an idea. Hey, Damien. So last night was good. I'm happy all the way around. I don't know if Boquist is hurt. Did anybody hear anything about Boquist after the game, whether or not it was just he got his face busted up or was it a concussion? Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate that. It was tough. It was not an easy one. It was a little bit higher than I normally do. But I was going to do it anyway because, damn it, they were my dogs, and so it is what it is, what it was. So I appreciate that. He's going to get photographed today. Okay, so he might have broke something. He might have had a little bit of damage there. All right, thank you, Metal. So I guess we're going to find out if Nate Schmidt can keep up with the Joneses sooner than later, right? So there's that. But other than that, but Balinskis looked good. Balinskis looked good, man. So I'm happy with how he looked. Kulikov looked like his old self. Thank you, Metal. I appreciate that. She says, yeah, my lab back home turns 14 tomorrow. So needless to say, geez, 14. Now, I mean, Ellie was 13 and a half. The oldest dog I've had. Do I have my Akita sign in here? No, I don't. I think I have my Akita sign in the recap room. I had an Akita that lived to be 15 and a half years old. And he was healthy until the last week of his life when he just kind of slowed down. And we're like, okay, it's time. Yeah, Aviator says, got to work on the power play, but other than that, great game. Yep, exactly. Mikla had a fantastic game after the Verhaeghe contract. How much do I think Bennett wants? I put out a short last night. I don't know how much sense I was making. You gotta figure Bennett's less than Verhaeghe, right? I mean, Bennett's got not really so much of an injury history, but and it's hard to say because it's a different position. He definitely is a completely different player. I mean, maybe you're looking at the same thing. Excuse me. Maybe you're looking at 7 again. I don't think you're going to pay him more than Verhaeghe, right? Jameson, I appreciate that, bud. I appreciate that. Yeah, I tell you, when I went to my Google Photos and my Google Drive, I got almost 200 gigs of videos. It's almost all the dogs. It's not anything from the channel. Like it's all, so I mean, everywhere I went with them, I took footage, and 70-80% of it I never rewatched, but I knew I would want it. And so yeah. It was a step in the right direction for Kyle and I, will put it that way. Dylan says, sorry we chanted we want Swayman last night. We got too into it. And I hope that doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. I'm sitting there and I'm hearing, what are they saying? And then I realize what you're saying, and I'm like, shut up. No, that's all we need is round 1 against Boston, and they just put that on a loop in Swayman's headphones. We want Sway. That's all we freaking need. It's too late now. It's already there, right? Yeah, exactly, Eyes, right? Yeah. Trey says, hold on. Trey says, I didn't see anything wrong with the We Want Swayman chant. The context is completely different from We Want Florida. Leaf fans said that because they thought we would be easier. We wanted a real challenge. It's totally different. I mean, you're not wrong, but that's our context. Like, if we're intellectually honest, Toronto fans were also, they weren't just saying we want Florida. They were saying we want Boston. So whoever it was going to be was going to have that bulletin board material, right? So you're not wrong, but Boston's not going to look at it that way. You know, their team's not going to be like, well, you know, they're going to pick and choose their reason how they're going to want to look at it. Vincent says under 6, but I'm not sure about 8 years with Bennett. Yeah, I'm not so sure with him either. 6 by 6, something like that. So, you're going to pay him a little bit more than Lundell, obviously, but Lundell is Bennett insurance. You know what I mean? So, all right, let me scroll down to the bottom. Oh, hey, Paul. He says, I sent you a late super chat, but it was on yesterday's video. Let me know if I got it. Way to open the season, kicking the Bruins' ass. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Let me see. It was on yesterday's video. Let me check that real quick. Let me check. So it must have been on. It was on the live. Let me see. So it would have been here. This creator over. Holy crap! I got it, brother. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, brother. Oh my God. Thank you. That is much appreciated. And thank you for letting me know. I just hadn't gotten a chance to check around with the comments yesterday. So thank you for letting me know. Much appreciated, brother. Thank you. Hey, Michael, how you doing, bud? Yeah, man, this is still bad juju. Given Swayman, right? Imagine if they had chanted "Pay Swayman." That's funny. Trey says, either way, Boston, both the organization and the fans learned what leverage meant last night. You're not kidding about that, right? Yeah, Jameson, I agree. The fourth line, I like it. I hope that, because, Nosek is going to come back, right? So it's a shame that fourth line is going to get changed around a little bit. I really like Greer. I really like Boquist. Of course, I like Gadjevich. So when Nosek comes back, I hope they don't bump Samoskevich off that third line, but we'll just have to see how that goes. Yeah, Greer was nice. Trey says, so that Facebook group you sent us to, there's dudes in there acting like Verhaeghe's extension is as bad as the Huberdeau deal. I missed when we had 6 fans. I don't understand that. I mean, look, Facebook is what it was. You know what I mean? It was what it was, is what it is. I don't understand. I think seven's nice for Verhaeghe, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy that basically is a perennial 40-ish goal scorer, Mr. Clutch. He's not old. I mean, are we going to have some issues when we've got a whole team of 34, 35, 36-year-olds? Maybe. Sure, but how many cups will we have by then? I'm scrolling down to the bottom here. Yeah, still better than Reddit. Yeah. Hey, Michael, how you doing, buddy? Aviator says keep Bennett over Ekblad. Eyes. A friend of mine, Hal, runs used to run the biggest Florida Panthers group on Facebook. And overnight, one night, they just disappeared his group with 37,000 people in it. So I posted a link in the community chat, in the community board about a week ago, trying to help him out so that he could rebuild the group. 37,000 people is a lot. He's trying to work with Facebook. I haven't been on in a couple of days to see if he was able to get that group back. But yeah, man, Facebook is evil. They're evil. It's a sports fans group. Like, what could have happened that would, justify removing a group like that? Just chucking around says, with the cap going up and the Yandel buyout coming finally off the books, if Ekblad takes a team-friendly extension, we should have more than enough cap to sign Bennett and add more defense. Agreed. Yeah. If Ekblad takes, $4 million, $5 million, I don't really want to give him $5. I'll give him $4. I'll give him 6 by 4. Yeah, 6 years of $4 million. And I'm being generous. Don't throw anything in my head. I'm being generous. Eyes, nobody knows why they deleted it. Nobody knows. That's you're not allowed to be a Panthers fan on Reddit. Yeah, Eyes, nobody knows. They couldn't get an answer from them. Stolars is starting for Toronto tonight. Very nice. Very nice. Let's see. Bolvar says, not trying to talk crap. You guys won the cup, but looking at the banner and what the last 10 teams did, hold on a second. Let me reread this again because I'm not trying to talk crap. You guys won the cup, but looking at the banner and what the last 10 teams did with it, there's the Panthers banner looks bad. The white and colored letters need to be reversed. I mean, I'm not someone to complain about that because my graphic skills are stick figure. That's what I can do, right? As you guys have seen from the thumbnails that I do on my own. So I can't really complain about what they put together there. And especially me being colorblind, to me, it kind of looked like the colors might have been a little bit muted, but I'll let you guys tell me that because a lot of times, like I said, I'm colorblind, so it looks different to me than it will to others. I didn't mean to do that. What did Trey say? He says we can leave. Trey is on the paying Shesterkin train. Trey says we can literally pay Shesterkin what he wants and still keep all our guys. I'm not saying we're going to do it, but just give y'all an idea of our cap situation. We're friggin' golden boys. Yeah, Metal says crazy how Ekblad is paid more than Verhaeghe now. Ekblad got paid a while ago. That was Talon's deal, right? Ekblad was Talon's deal, right? Yeah. He made himself some good money. Vincent says Ekblad is awesome. How he manages to impress with his high skill IQ is a sign of. Oh, good chucking around says I posted on Leash Reddit and they went and downvoted everything I ever posted. I used to post on Reddit years ago, like year 2 of the channel. They didn't like me too much, so that's okay. I'm not their age group. I'm not their cup of tea. That's okay. Every once in a while, one of the guys that likes me will go over to Reddit and be like, "Hey, do you guys watch Flying Fluffy?" And they're like, "Bleh." And they're like, "Oh, okay, never mind." Every once in a while, I'll get a message from somebody saying, "Hey, man, I was on Reddit and I brought you up, and I almost got destroyed." And I just laughed. I'm like, "Yeah, you too, right?" Joseph Wall is hurt again. Jeez. Damien wants to know when Bob's contract ends in 26-27, would I pay Shesterkin? I mean, that's such a tough question. I don't think Shesterkin's going to end up leaving New York. I don't think he's going to end up leaving New York. I would rather see us develop Spencer Knight. And if Bob wants to retire. I'd rather see that because, we're going to need money to continue revamping the team and remaking the team. I don't know that I would want to pay Shesterkin. I mean, I wouldn't. Let's put it this way. I'm not going to cry about it if it happens. Like if Bob retires and we sign Shesterkin and trade Spencer Knight. What just happened? Okay, we're okay. I'm still here. That was weird. I said people don't like Flying Fluffy Hal. I wasn't always so calm and cordial. We'll just put it that way. When the team was bad, I had a lot of takes that actually ended up being correct, but I wasn't well received for the way that I expressed my opinions in the beginning. That eventually all turned out to be right, but that's a different story. Hungry Xenomorph says, if Reddit doesn't like you, you're doing something right. Yeah, I know. For Spencer Knight, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on there. That's a good point. Bolvar says, hey, man, the Russian goaltenders are working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's true. What's he going to want, by the way? I'm scrolling down to the bottom because I missed some comments. What's he going to want? Like, he turned down 11. Is it going to be like Swayman? Is it like, okay, I'll take 11.2? Like, he already would be the highest paid goalie in the NHL. Swayman just took 8.2, which probably pissed Shesterkin off. Shesterkin was probably thinking if Swayman got 10, then, he could get like 12 or 13. Whoa. Rumor has it he wants 12 and a half. Wow. Trey says, I haven't had any issues. A couple times I've dropped your name on the Panthers sub. Never tried on the NHL or hockey subs because we're not allowed there to begin with it. Probably because you're a bigger guy, right? Because you're a wrestler. I don't know. It depends on who's read it on that day. 12 and a half. Trey says, it sounds like he wants 11.6, but reality would probably be an even 12. God. I mean, maybe to be in New York. Now there, you want to see something be pissed off. I says he wants 12 and for the Rangers to advertise on this channel. Yeah, I agree with you there, Henderson. But like 12 in New York is like what? 10 in Florida? 10, maybe 10 and a half. Wouldn't that be something if like the Rangers lost him to a tax-free state. That would be interesting. Well, it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of another, because if he doesn't win a cup in the next couple of years, then he may not be able to, continue asking that price tag, right? Because that would be, is he on his last year of his contract, or does he have another year going? Bonehead says he can back up Vasi in Tampa, right? Trey says, say it, Eric. He'll take 11 in Florida. I mean, yeah, he would. He would. Oh, they already hate us. Like, did you guys hear the thing with Tkachuk last night? I forget who the player was. I was watching. Hey, Colby, thank you, Colby. Thank you, bud. Thank you. He says, Olmark and Decor just got massive extensions. I'm glad to see goalies are starting to be valued like quarterbacks. Little bit. Hey, Dana, how you doing? I was watching Low Quality, and I forget the player that got the roughing against Tkachuk that was trying to fight with Tkachuk. Apparently, what happened, why that guy dropped his gloves and went after Chucky, was apparently that guy asked him, hey, do you want to fight? And Chucky said, yeah, and then turned his back to him. And that's why he was so pissed off, because he goaded him into dropping the gloves and going after him, and he got the penalty, and Chucky just skated away from him. That's what the players said in the Boston post game, according to Low Quality. So I'm laughing my ass off at that. And then he, of course, in his video, he's cursing up a storm. He's not a fan of Tkachuk's integrity. We'll just put it that way. And I'm just laughing about it, because it's like, hey, you got to know what you're up against, right? But if Chucky really did that, that's kind of funny. Yeah, he got baited. Yep. If he's the one that asked Chucky to fight, and Chucky said, yeah, sure. And then as soon as the dude drops his gloves, Chucky turns his back on him. I mean, you can't do anything but laugh, right? Because you got to know who you're dealing with, right? Yeah, Metal says they'll call Chucky soft for that, but I love it. Right. Trey says, and similar to quarterbacks, people thought the sky would fall if you paid a quarterback $20 million. Now we paid him $60 and don't bat an eye. Same will happen here. It's only a mistake if you give a bad goalie quarterback the bag. Oh, you mean like if you give a guy that can't stay healthy $55 million? Is that what you're referring to, Trey? Good point. Bolivar says at least Matthew has some restraint. Brady will go full on King Kong. Brady Tkachuk is I wouldn't want to fight him. No. Like exactly what Bolivar is saying. Like with Matthew, you can see like he's kind of having fun, right? He's having, with Brady, you can see like he really wants to rip your neck off. Like he's mad. He's angry. I would not want, you don't want to fight that dude. Henderson says, I say this with all respect and admiration. Tkachuk has usurped Marchand's throne. The Rat King is dead. Long the Rat King. Yeah, that was going to happen at some point, right? And then somebody will take over for Tkachuk. They do it. What I liked best about last night was the poor dude that gets the slashing penalty on the ref. Rodriguez is sitting there, and he's got his stick draped over the dude's shoulder, and he's just laughing about it. And the dude just takes his own stick to try to get Rodriguez's stick off of his shoulder, and the ref steps right in and he whacks the ref, and Rodriguez is just laughing, and I'm laughing because it's just like Rodriguez just had a big smile on it. We obviously were able to get under their skin last night. And which is surprising, because if any team should know not to fall for that crap that we do, you'd think it would be Boston. Oh, Hungry says apparently Chucky used to be on the same Pee Wee team as him and he hates him. Gotcha. That makes some sense. That makes some sense. So he's a free agent after this season. Thank you, Damien. So he's on his last. So they got to sign him. So remember, Trey, Bob's got one more year. So that's wishful thinking. We're not getting Shesterkin. Bob has an extra year. You're not. I know Trey is not on this podcast suggesting that we move Bobrovsky to take Shesterkin, right? I know that's not what you're saying, right? Jameson said even Matthew admitted in the interview Brady would beat him in a hockey fight. Yep, I don't want nothing to do with it. Vincent. Hey, low quality is good, though. He's a good guy. I like his content. But they hate us. Boy, they hate us. They see parts of the game that I don't even recognize. Because, I mean, like, okay, we know kind of Bennett kind of ran over Corpusalo. But from my point of view, it kind of looked like Bennett tried to stop his skates and jump away. From low quality's point of view, he stuck out an elbow. So it's just like, it's like politics. You're going to see whatever you need to see, right? And then the other person's be like, how in the hell do you see that? But he's a good dude. Let me scroll down to the bottom. I missed a lot of comments here. So Trey says, according to that Facebook group, Bob sucks because Boston got a couple garbage time goals. Yeah, and the one that it went off Kulikov's skate is what it is. Colin, no, I'm happy about that. I'm happy. 8 years of $7 million for Hagee. We're good. He's the kind of player that should age well. I mean, none of these guys. We're going to be doing a lot of buyouts, right? Year 5, 6 of some of these deals, it's not going to look beautifully pretty. But we also might not be spending $14.5 million on goaltenders at that point. So Kachucking around says New York is cup or bust. They can't sign Igor and stay competitive with their aging roster, right? I mean, maybe he doesn't want to stay. Maybe from his perspective, maybe he wants to go somewhere. I mean, I don't know where he's going to go. He probably would want to go to the West. He would have a much better chance of winning a cup in the West if he's going to leave. Like Rangers, you would think that they're still in the running here. I know everybody kind of likes the Devils. Obviously, the Panthers are still the Panthers. But if you're Shesterkin, I mean, you could maybe head over to the Western Conference and maybe do better. But then you end up paying all those taxes in Canada and Western United States. So I don't know. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, buddy? He says, just woke up after getting back from the game at 4:30. What a game. Wish you were there, Jaws. Yeah, Jeff, I appreciate that, man. I wish I would have liked to have been able to come down. But you know how the finances are and everything. And it's kind of a good thing I didn't come down because I would have been stuck there with the hurricane. But good to hear from you, brother. I haven't been on Twitter in so long. I know I get tagged to things. I just haven't. I only got so many eyeballs, man. You know what I mean? Damien says in 26-27, we have 34.98 mil. Well, yeah, but that's because Bob's and Spencer Knight's contract comes off the books, right? I mean, that's kind of temporary right now. But if Shesterkin needs a contract for next season, Ekblad for Shesterkin. No, probably not. I'm thinking we won't get that. Hey, Rosado, how you doing, buddy? I says, Swaggy going to end up traded to Arizona if they get another team in the last year of his deal, right? Yeah, there'll be some guys, year 6, 7, 8 of those deals won't be spectacular. But how many, like I said, how many cups will we have? How many cups will we have by then? Scrolling down to the bottom again. Did somebody donate? Oh, hey, Rosado. Chucking around says in 6 years, we're going to look like Pitt But if we have some more hardware to show for it, really don't care. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, nobody can keep it together forever, right? Nobody can keep it together forever. So we still have a good chance to have a good solid core after Bob leaves. Maybe Spencer Knight, don't know. If he ever gets on the ice, I don't know. I don't know there. Bolvar says Igor's going to play somewhere like Minnesota to play with his fellow countryman Kaprizov. Interesting. Yeah, he might do better in the West. The Western Conference, to me, has a few more teams. It's a little bit more even in terms of teams that could make it. Like in the East, man, I mean, in the Metro, like I said, it's the Rangers and everybody else. I know people like the Devils, but they haven't proven that they could do it on a consistent basis yet. And in the Atlantic, I mean, you got to get through the worst team in the Atlantic that would likely make the playoffs that you got to get through is Tampa, right? I mean, or maybe Boston. I don't know. And so, I mean, it's a lot more competition to me in the Atlantic that would keep Igor away from a cup. Oh, yeah. Rosado wants his wrench. Hold on a second, bud. I don't think I can do it from here. Just hold on. No, it's funny. The only thing that just bear with me, everybody. The only thing that I can do on StreamYard is ban you or delete your comment. So just give me a second. Let me get to the stream that we're on right now. Is that right now? Yes. 56 minutes ago. I haven't been here for 56 minutes. Let me come here and find Rosado's. Come on, go to it. And now my phone is going to not work. This is so weird. It won't go to this. I'm pressing it, Rosado. Anything else it'll go to, but it won't go. I'll have to do it after the stream, buddy. But I'll get you. I promise. Soon as the stream is over, I don't want to take up too much time here now live. But as soon as it's over, I'll go back and give you your wrench back. Don't worry. All right, to the bottom here. Trey, he promised not to ban you, Trey. So if anything funny happens, so Rosado, here's what I'll say. Rosado. I'm not saying you did anything. Maybe you got somebody messing with you, but everything bad that was happening stopped when I took away your moderator status. So if it starts again, even if it's another moderator just screwing with me to make it look like it's you, I'm going to take your wrench back again. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah. Trey says, I got caught in the second half and just saw you digging through your phone. I wasn't even throwing Rosie under the bus. All right, I missed a couple comments up here. Hold on. Colby says, I feel tomorrow against Ottawa will be a tough game for us because Allmark owns us in the regular season and Ottawa will want to prove something. What if Boston turns out like Ottawa and vice versa? I predicted Ottawa. I picked them to make the playoffs, to make the last wild card spot in the East this year because of Allmark. So I'll put it to you this way. Bob needs to be sharper. Okay? I'm not saying he was bad, but, I think it was the second goal, the one he just kind of lackadaisically went. I think we were 5-1, and he lackadaisically went to just glove the puck, and he missed it, and he put it right there. He needs to be a little bit sharper, or Ottawa will take it to us because Brady, right? Let's see. Henderson says, real quick, even though I know you guys aren't exactly Bolts lovers, but spare a thought today. Oh, no, that's true. You may have to play underwater. No, I have friends. I have close friends in Tampa. My parents live in Melbourne. My daughter lives in Melbourne. Brother Gene lives in Melbourne. Like my whole family, other than Kyle and Matthias, they all live in Florida and in Melbourne. Now, it's not supposed to be so bad there, but like my brother went to go to the bank and the bank's already closed today. So yeah, no, I got you there, man. It's kind of it's getting to be a little bit hectic down there. This is awfully late in the year to be getting big storms like that. Meadow says, I think Bob just had some rust. He wasn't elite at the start of the season last year. No, yeah. I'm just talking about for tomorrow night. He's going to need to be sharper, or Ottawa, because I don't think Olmark's going to get lit up for 6 like Corpusalo did, right? Michael, your parents are in Sarasota. Yeah, I mean, I got friends that live in the the Naples, Tampa Bay area, and they're not leaving. They're gutting it out at home. They're a little bit west, but that sucker's nasty. Hey, Sean, how you doing, bud? Everything is good. Everything. I'm so glad the games are back. You guys have no idea. With everything that went on over the summer, man, without games, it was just like too much time to think. Way too much time to think, and making videos without the games, without action to go on, without people signing contracts and stuff like that. It's just only so many player grades videos that, my brain is going to function with. You know what I mean? So there ain't nobody more happy than me that games are back. That's all I can say in my broken, poor English. Like I said, I have a new series that's going to be pretty much a daily thing. And the first one will be out about an hour after this show. So stay tuned for that. The first episode is not super long. These are not going to be long videos, but you'll get the idea of what I'll be going for. And we'll just stack ideas on top of ideas as the season goes on. Colby says, I probably said this before, but as a hurricane hit Wharton, Maryland, where I live, we've not had a hurricane here. Now, the year we got Fluffy, we lived on an island in the Chesapeake Bay. There's a little chain of islands in the Chesapeake Bay on the eastern shore. And we lived in the southernmost island because a couple years previous, the island that was the southernmost island got flooded and never returned. So when we lived there, we were on the southernmost island. We spent the year. I didn't want to leave, but that's a whole nother ball of wax. But the neighbors would tell us stories about how the whole thing got flooded. And it was one of the hurricanes or tropical storms that just kind of like plopped over New York and in the bay and everything. And they said they'd sit on their roof. Like I had a porch on the second story. They'd sit up there and they were just watching like beds and cars and couches just floating by. Just, you couldn't tell there was land anymore. He said it was absolutely surreal. Yeah, I don't get hit with hurricanes, just cargo ships, right? Spaceman, yeah, I lived through Andrew. I got my stories there. I don't want to take up the time here to tell them. But long story short, with Andrew, remember, it was supposed to hit Hallandale. I had an apartment on Hallandale Beach. So I evacuated to Hallandale to go stay with my grandfather in Coral Gables. And the storm said, okay, turn. And as soon as I got to Coral Gables, they changed the forecast from Hallandale and they just said, okay, boom. And it just came right over the house. That was crazy. Yeah, Hurricane Andrew will be in the second book. Every once in a while, somebody buys one of those books. I appreciate that. I still have the book with my stuff with Fluffy because the back cover. I got to get that back up on the recap wall. How are we looking on time? Okay, we're good. Yeah, it hit Homestead. Yeah, I know. It just turned right there. Michael says, based on last night, do we have a chance to repeat? I hope so, because that's what I picked. That's what I picked. Um, of course, look, you're going to start off the season a certain way with all of your energy and we're healthy and all of that. I didn't see anything last night that makes me think that could be a problem. Now, we also didn't see Nate Schmidt on defense. Boquist looked good for the couple minutes he was out there. Kulikov looks good. Balinskis looks good. The fourth line guys look good. Sam Iskevich looked like he belongs. Some of it is going to have to do with, what's our seeding going to be. I don't want to run Bob into the ground. So who's the real backup goalie and how many games is he going to play? So there's that. And yeah, iDog power play. Well, yeah. I'm not saying the power play was great, but it's the same power play that we just won the cup with last year. You know what I mean? It was the same result, right? So I didn't see anything new. I didn't see anything different that made me think, okay, that could be a problem that was different than what we had last year. I don't think Maurice, if you read between the lines when Maurice talks about it, I just don't think that he values the power play all that much. I just don't think he values it all that much. Now, it sucks that we gave up a shorty, but we got a shorty of our own. Yeah, exactly. Stop giving up shorthanded goals. Yeah, I agree. And Mythical Riz is exactly right. Our power play during the cup was awful. So let's put it this way. The team is so good that we can win a cup with a lousy power play and Aaron Ekblad on the top pair. That's how good the rest of the team is. You know what I mean? And like I said last night in the recap, Aaron Ekblad is still Aaron Ekblad. I hate bitching about him because if there's one thing Ekblad is doing is he's giving 100%. You know that. Yeah, exactly. It would be nice to not give up goals when we've got a man advantage. Sean says, only minor concerns. Bob was meh. Yesterday was the first game. Chucky was meh as well, but maybe I have different expectations for him. Last thing, Ekblad is still slow. Yeah. And Reinhardt, that goal. Oh, the Reinhardt goal. It was such a beautiful shot. And his confidence now, and when you saw it in the game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup Game 7. He just came down and shot it. And the same thing was happening last night. Barkov was trailing him. And I kind of thought for a minute, because Reinhardt kind of was covered, I kind of thought for a minute that Reinhardt might slow up a little bit and try a back pass to Barkov, who was coming in, and I don't even think he was covered. But I love it that Reinhardt will just shoot that puck, and it goes in. So the only other thing there is if Sam Iskevich looked good. He looked like he can fit in. Looks like he's not anybody that's going to hurt us on defense or anything like that. And then, how long is it going to take him to put the puck in the back of the net? We'll see. He did have that nice pass to Luosterainen. And Trey says Rhino is a puck hog now. Vincent says, hopefully we can add Shea Theodore in February. That's right. Erod scored. And Luosterainen. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens in February, Vincent. Well, health-wise, obviously, we were in pretty good shape last year. The Boquist thing is kind of a freak thing. Hopefully he's not out too long. Nate Schmidt, Balinskis looks good. So I guess if Boquist is not in tomorrow, which it sounds like he might not, to me, I move Balinskis up with Mikkola, and then I go Kulikov, Schmidt, because I trust Kulikov and I don't really trust. I'm not so sure about Schmidt just yet. So if Boquist is out, that's what I would do. I would move Balinskis up. Now, I know that might sound like a stretch to some people, thinking Balinskis is a top 4 guy, but guys have to play where guys have to play, right? He looked quick last night. He's moving the puck around, and running that. He was running the second power play unit. When Boquist went out, they moved Ekblad up to run the top unit, and it had been Ekblad and Balinskis in the second unit. And then they put Forsling with Balinskis on the second unit. So I don't understand why I would rather have Forsling running. Well, I like Boquist running it, but if Boquist is out, I'd rather have Forsling running the first one and then keep it with Ekblad and Balinskis if we have to have Ekblad running it at all. I hope Maurice doesn't have to learn that lesson. Remember, who was it? Was it Gallant or was it Brunette? No, Gallant only had Yandel for a little bit. But there was like two coaches that just insisted. It was Rowe, and then it must have been Quenneville, right? But yeah, I think it was Rowe and then Quenneville at the beginning. That they insisted that Ekblad Yandel was the pair. Nothing they did. It didn't matter how bad they were. They insisted Ekblad Yandel was the pair. So I hope that Maurice will. I know he's not going to take Ekblad off after the first game, but exactly what I was worried about happened, even though it didn't lead to a goal. He loses the puck at the blue line. His hips can't turn, and it's going back the other way. I hope that Maurice, usually a lot of the times, by the time I'm bitching about something, Maurice kind of must be feeling the same thing, and he'll make a change. So I know it's early. That's not going to happen right now, but hopefully he doesn't get stubborn about that, and he's willing to come to Aaron and be like, this ain't working. You know what I mean? Chucking around says Boston couldn't stop running into each other in the neutral zone, very sloppy. They will improve. We just need to tighten up as well. Yeah. That's another thing when I was watching Low Quality. He said because he watched all the preseason games, and he said, that complaint was from the preseason too as well. Like they just don't look like they're really all that organized and everything. So it's game one, right? And the other part to that, I'm not saying Boston didn't want to win the game, but like in football, if you look at your schedule and the opening night is at Kansas City on Monday night, you kind of already know, right? You kind of already know. Like you go into the game and be like, maybe something can happen. And it's 21-7 at the end of the first quarter. And you're like, screw it. So it's kind of, I think Boston, it was 4-1 at the end of the first period. I think they kind of came in and knew that their job was to be sacrificed at the altar of the Stanley Cup banner. And I think it's funny that's who they gave us, right? Oh yeah, Utah beating Chicago. Maybe it's just me. I said this last night on the stream, but the whole Utah, and it's the new franchise and it's their first time and everything, and they're making the whole big deal about it being the franchise histories and I'm like, it's just the Coyotes. To me, it's just the Coyotes moved, and I don't know. I kind of feel bad for the people in Arizona that the NHL making the big deal about, it's, new franchise in Utah. It's like, no, they just took the one franchise from those fans and gave it to the other. Like I said to Kyle on the stream last night, it's like, remember back when every year they said the Panthers were going to move to Quebec, and it's like, what if that would have happened? And then the NHL, everybody's making a big deal. The new Quebec franchise, it's their first ever franchise this and the first ever that. And we'd be sitting there going, it's just the Panthers. They just moved. So maybe that's just me. But I understand it from an advertising standpoint and all that. I get it. But I just kind of felt like they could have included the Coyotes fans in there a little bit, and instead of kind of felt like rubbing it in their face. That's kind of how it felt. I think that's what it is. It kind of felt like they were rubbing it in their face, you know? Right, exactly, Sean. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Rosado. Beto says 11 different Panthers had at least a point last night. Yeah. Yeah, I think actually in the first 4 goals, someone banned you? That has to be Dana. Do I have a text from Dana? Let me see. No, I don't have a text from that had to be Dana. There's only like 2 or 3 mods now. That had to be Dana. What'd you say, Rosado? Right? But what I was saying, by the time we had scored the 4 goals, I think we had somebody from every line had contributed. Reinhardt had gotten a goal. Bennett had gotten 2, but Greer had gotten an assist, and he's on the 4th line. And Gadjevich, was it Gadjevich? No, Luosterainen had already gotten his goal. So, yeah, by the time we had those 4 goals, somebody from each line had contributed. And that it's speaking to the depth. That's exactly right. Soflo says, how about Greer mucking it up? I did not expect that. Is he a fighter? I don't know if he's technically a fighter or not, but he, like somebody said earlier in the stream, they were talking about him like being the new Lomberg. He looked ready to go. You know, I think he just kind of wanted to send a message a little bit, like, I'm the dude, right? Like if you go messing around with somebody, I'm the dude that you're gonna have to talk to. And now, Gadjevich as well. So we're in good shape on that 4th line. That's for damn sure. Henderson says, yeah, it sucks for the fans in Arizona. It was awesome for all the new fans. Yeah, I just wish that they would have included them. But that's just me. That's just me and my weird way of thinking about things. It's right. Trey, you're not banned. There's no other mods, right? It's just Dana. Is Eyes, are you a mod? I'm looking. Who are the mods? Dana, and I know Trey's not a mod anymore. When did we take your mod away? Or did I never give it to you because you didn't want it? Here's another question. Chris was asking, what do I think about our power play? Yeah. Other than the normal complaint about Ekblad, we did try to get that bumper play once, and Corpusalo actually made the save. So the puck movement wasn't real crisp. I don't even know how much we even practiced on the power play during their training camp and everything. And the groups only played together like 1 game, right? And not even really a full game worth. So I think Maurice would say the important thing on the power play is to not give up shorthanded goals. I think that's what he would say. So it's going to be a work in progress. Obviously, we've got pieces there when Reinhardt's going, right? I wish that we could get a little bit more creative with things and get maybe Verhaeghe some more shots, find some guys, get a little bit more creative with it. But for whatever reason, I just don't think Maurice values it as much as us fans do, right? Hey, True, how you doing, bud? He says this team looks better than last year's. I mean, it ain't wrong. We look pretty, and look, Maurice told us that they came into camp in better shape, right? And they looked it. That's another thing Low Quality was complaining about in his video was that Boston looked gassed, they looked out of shape, they looked tired. And I'm like, yeah, we that's us. That's the Panthers. That's what we do to everybody. So overall, it was just a nice night. Just beautiful night. Make Ekblad a mod. Dana, are you still here? Yo, you never accepted it, Trey. I didn't know that you can. I didn't know you could turn it down. I didn't know that you could turn it down. I think the only mod that was even here was Dana, but I think she just checked in. I'll have to check it. Oh, well, that's okay. SoFlo says it's hilarious how the Bruins made it a point to beef up their blue line to match the Panthers' physicality, and it backfires on the very first game. How many times was Big Bad Zadorov in the box? And we were getting the ice in front of the net on them anyway. The first two of the first three goals where our guys had inside position basically in the crease. So don't matter how big and bad you are if you don't really know how to use it right? I says it's an election year. We should have mod elections. I hadn't thought about that. I know MJ's a mod, but I know he didn't ban Rosado. I don't know. I'll have to look at the list after. I'll look at the list after the stream and see what we got. So, Trey says, yeah, but I don't want an A or a C. I just want to make jokes every now and then and drop a knowledge bomb. There's True. Yeah, that's right. Nick's the other mod. I knew we had another one around here somewhere. Did you ban Nick? Did you ban Rosado? Did you ban Rosado? Chucking around says, when I am elected, yeah. Yeah, keep taking the bait, dummies. Exactly. Fly Guy says, I'm sure they're going to try to get to Swayman get Swayman in after last night. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if he'd even practiced, really. There was no way that he was going to get it. We play Boston Monday, by the way. I believe that's accurate. Let me look here. Last thing before I get ready to go. We play Ottawa tomorrow. Then we play the Sabres on Saturday. And then 1:00 in the afternoon on Monday. 1:00 in the afternoon on Monday. That's when we play the Bruins. I guess that's a holiday. I guess that's Columbus Day. Is that what that is? It's one of those days. So Flo says Mikkola is a good example of a big defenseman, not really that physical per se in terms of hits and fighting, but he's smart and uses his big body to box out guys and just get in the way, so to speak. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Impeached or re-educated. Trey, Nick says he didn't ban anybody, but he banned me and got impeached. That's right. That's right. You closing the gym at 8. Oh, good. You got a night off. All right. That's going to do it from my voice. Like I said, about an hour from now, there will be episode 1 of a new series that should be out just about most days. Maybe not every single day, but most days, unless you guys really like it and it does well, and I'll try to do it every single day. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new here. And we're rocking and rolling. We're on our way to 164 points this season. That's what we're doing. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.